U.S. Marines in Okinawa, Japan just received the first batch of the Next Generation Amphibious Combat Vehicles, ACV, the Marine Corps' much-needed replacement for the aging Assault Amphibious Vehicles, AAV, which was first introduced in the early 1970s and has been plagued with all kinds of problems. In July 2020, the AAVs were completely grounded by the Marine Corps after an AAV sank during a training exercise, killing 8 Marines and a sailor. The AAVs are scheduled to all be retired in 2026. Unlike the old tracked AAVs, the new ACVs are 8x8 wheeled vehicles and were designed to give the optimal balance of sea and land mobility and survivability, while also being flexible enough to support the future needs of the Marine Corps as technology evolves. The role of the ACV is to move Marines ashore during an amphibious assault. In a conflict with China, the ACV will be useful for island hopping operations around Taiwan or in the South China Sea, since it can be launched from miles away on a hovercraft or landing craft utility ship and easily go from swimming in the ocean to driving on the beach and land. The ACV will help enable the USMC strategy of seizing and holding islands within the range of enemy fire and denying its forces access to key maritime straits. The 35-ton ACV is produced by BAE Systems in conjunction with the Italian company Iveco. The ACV is based on Iveco's Super AV 8x8 amphibious vehicle and offers improved speed, agility, operational range, protection, and firepower over the Vietnam-era AAVs. The ACV can be launched from an open ocean ship and operate in challenging sea and surf conditions. It has a ship-to-shore range of around 12 nautical miles. The ACV is also exceptionally mobile on land and has a top speed of 65 miles per hour, 105 kilometers, on paved roads with a maximum driving range of 325 miles, 520 kilometers. Unlike the old AAVs, the ACVs have a V-shaped hull to better protect against mines and IEDs, as well as an automatic fire suppression system. The base variant has a remote control weapon station that allows crews inside to fire 50 caliber or 40 millimeter grenade launchers from inside the vehicle. It can hold a total of 16 people, 3 crew plus 13 combat-loaded Marines, whereas the older AAVs can transport 21 Marines. But the ACV has also had its share of problems and criticisms. It's had some rollover accidents on the surf and on land that the Marines said was caused by a lack of proper training. The ACV also has had some technical hiccups, including some involving the shock absorbers and another problem with water leaking into the powertrain. The ACV made its operational debut overseas earlier this year in May when the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit out of Camp Pendleton, California, conducted live-fire partner training in the Philippines. The ACV comes in 4 variants: the ACV-P Standard Personnel Carrier variant, the ACV-C, the Command and Control variant. The ACV-R is the recovery variant that can perform field maintenance, recovery, and repair. And finally, the ACV-30 is the infantry fighting variant with a more lethal 30mm Bushmaster chain gun. There's also an experimental variant called the ACV-C4 UAS that was developed by Lockheed Martin that stands for Command, Control, Communication, and Computers / Uncrewed Aerial System. This variant was designed to be the quarterback of the battlefield and built to evaluate next-generation recon and counter-reconnaissance technologies. It can control multiple sensors and effectors, including unmanned air or ground vehicles. For example, it's able to pair with an unmanned ground vehicle that maneuvers out front in advance of the ACV to conduct advanced recon. The biggest knocks on the ACV is that it's too slow in the water and lacks range. It can only travel at about 6 to 9 knots in the open ocean, which is comparable to the older AAVs. Critics want a much faster vehicle that can be ship launched from farther away from shore. According to some, the ACV is too expensive and is not the best investment for modern amphibious operations when facing a near-peer adversary like China, with its long-range precision missiles, mines, drones, submarines, and sophisticated aircraft.